Hello and welcome to another Wednesday afternoon here on Kobold Press. I'm Little Red Dot, your host for today. I do not have a guest, but do not fret. That does not mean it is not a full and adventurous day where I'm going to be spilling a lot of new information about our upcoming Kickstarter, as well as one of our upcoming shows. I hope you're all well today. Maybe you're here today, or maybe you're watching this on YouTube and you're joining us in the future, but I hope it has been a good day. But that's right, we're getting ready to launch a Kickstarter here in the next few weeks, right at the top of May, and you can actually head on over to both our website or to the link here in chat. That link is, I remember, you can head on over to that link there in chat, and it'll set you up so that you can get notifications when this Kickstarter actually launches and be the first to help us back, because this is a first for Kobold Press. Campaign builder cities and towns. Usually we put out monster books. Sometimes we'll put out, a campaign, no big deal. But this is actually a resource, a tool. And I think it's such a really neat addition to the Kobold Press library because it's really a book meant for GMs. It's a book to help you plan better campaigns and cities for those campaigns. I should say cities and towns, because cities and towns come in all kinds of sizes. And so I thought to myself, what might be a fun thing for us to do to get a sneak peek? Because I can sit here and spill beans all day, but beans are best spilled when we have really great examples to go with them. So I have managed to finagle my way into a few sneak previews of what is actually going to be in this book, headed over to Kickstarter. And we, as a collective, are actually building a town, which I think is pretty cool, if I do say so myself. And last week, we got a really cool chance to sit down with Richard Green, who is one of the writers contributing to the book, and he helped write the section on guilds. And guilds are a really important part, I think, of cities, because they deal with the flow of goods, whether they're craftsmen or something else. But guilds can be really, really important to how your city's structured, to ways that you can slide in bits of the campaign or the story that you have kind of set up or started for your players. So last week we built some guilds, and let me tell you, they were pretty great. I'm just going to review because I'm so proud of them, the ones we built together. We have the Honorable Society of Leather Workers. We don't know a whole lot about them, but we do know that they used blessed leather to make their armor and goods, which means they have some kind of connection with some local clerics. We don't exactly know how that works yet, but we have some information. Then there's the Solemn Order of Maltsters. These are our local brewers, of course. We created mostly crafts guilds. So the Solemn Order of Maltsters, what a great name. This is basically an order of silent monks that, in essence, are the local brewery, and they have to serve a period of time as monks in silent service to the brewery. Welcome in, everyone. We're going over last week's because this week we're building something new for our city. What's up? And then we have our third guild, which was the Steadfast Fellowship of Masons, which I think is a really cool name as well. We know that they source from a nearby quarry of some kind, but they keep their secrets very, very close. Little is known about the actual inner workings unless you're one of the Masons themselves. So I think we came up with 3 really great craftsman guild groups for the city. Now, our city doesn't have a name. We don't know the political structure yet, other than the fact guilds are, in fact, allowed. But today we're going to be adding to our city. And I'm really excited about the piece that was given to me from Thomas, because it's actually one of the things I, as a GM, struggle with the most, which is naming things. If I could right now, I'd be like, show of hands, who struggles naming stuff on the spot? Because how often do you not plan for your players to be like, oh, I'm looking for an X, Y, and Z shop, or I'm looking for this kind of place or that kind of place, or we want a specialty bed and breakfast, not a tavern. And it's like, I didn't plan for that. And then, of course, you walk in there and the first thing they want to know is, does it have a name? And then I always go, oh, I don't have a name. And so I think this section of the Kickstarter is going to be a really, really interesting one for giving us tools to quickly name things. Oh, as long as you can write it down real fast, you just spell it backwards. I love that. That's a really great thing. And I have heard so many tips over the years from people about like how to do it. One of my favorite actually came from a big Kobold fan, and we've had on the show Mr. Tarask. And Mr. Tarask said they go to the front of their book if they struggle getting names for NPCs. They go to the front of the book where the publisher page is, and it has all those names listed. And they just pick one first name and one last name and put them together, which I think is like brilliant. Yeah, generic tavern number 1. See, this is why I was never really good at like Roller Coaster Tycoon, because I'd build these incredible rides, or I'd pay for one of these really expensive pre-built ones, and it would be like steel hanging roller coaster number 2. You know, like I never named it because I'm so bad at naming buildings, NPCs. Like I can see an NPC, I know how they talk, I know how they walk, I know where their business is at, but like I don't know I'm so bad at names. So the section that was given to me today is all about naming stuff, and I love that. And a lot of the naming actually has to do with table rolling, which is very helpful in the moment, especially if those nerves set in or your players catch you off guard with something that you could never have planned for them to go looking for. There's some really great tips and hints, which I'm going to actually go through. I unfortunately don't have a PDF to show you today, and I greatly apologize for that, but we can't give it all to you before the Kickstarter's here, but I am going to go through some of the back-end workings and some of the writing that they're in the middle of editing, and we'll take a look and roll off some of these tables, because they have 3 specific things that they kind of make some suggestions for, and I think it would be fun to do an inn. Every town needs an inn, or every city needs an inn. There's a section on shops and other establishments, so maybe we'll add a shop to the town. And then this is ships and other sailing vessels. Now, we did not establish that this is a port city. There's a quarry nearby. We don't know exactly what kind of quarry it is, or we can choose to maybe put it near the water. Maybe it's like limestone, or I don't know, something that's sandstone or something. Oh, thanks, Gamershare. It really helps when you take a moment to wash your hair. So I thought maybe we do that. But we did also mention that there is an order of clerics here in town that are working with a group. And there is a section in here on naming groups, organizations, and orders. So if we don't really feel like maybe the sailing vessel is the right thing, we could go over and grab an organization or an order. And our city needs a name. Our city needs a name. The city itself. And that's a really daunting one for me, too. Is like, this can't just be any name for a city, because, like, it's the city. It's the city I'm designing the campaign around. So, we're going to name some stuff. So, I want to start at the top. And there's a lot of really great suggestions here around naming. And really this section in particular is about using tables to name stuff. And there are some really fantastic examples like below, and we'll get there. But there's some great instruction for this too, which is like, you know, roll twice. You can roll off one table, you can roll off another. It gives some great examples too of sometimes you just want to choose. Like, you know what something's about and you just don't have the words. So they're like, go ahead, just look at the table and pick the words that seem to fit right. Was written by our very own art director, Mark. Y'all, you know how I just like rave about the art on this channel. Mark handles the art and our artists. And Mark himself is a fantastic artist. And I think this is very cool. I did not know, in fact, thank you, Thomas, that this was written by Mark. So, a little tidbit of information. So there's some really great examples of ways to use it. The tables are organized by table A is a description, table B is a creature, table D is an object. These tend to be the kind of fantasy naming standard, that we kind of mix and match. And I love that this mix and matches for me. That's very, very handy. I love this. If the GM is more adventurous, he might decide to roll on 3 tables instead of 2. Doing so most likely will require the GM to be a bit more open-minded and creative with results. You know, I think you can also use this information backwards. So instead of being like, oh, I need a name for a tavern because that's what my players are seeking, what if my players are like, I'm interested in what kind of shops are in town? They don't even care. They just want a list of shops. And maybe you run a blank on that. Sometimes the name can be the inspiration. I love this idea that if you put 3 of these words together, it's going to get a little weird. And the question is, when the name gets weird, what does that shop do? That could actually be way more interesting for your players and you as a GM in terms of the creative process to start using the name to inspire what the shop does as well. So I think there's a little back and forth. And then yet another option, it says here, is to roll on 1 or 2 tables as described above, then roll a single die, a d10 or a d20 works, and use the number rolled as an actual word to be added to the name generated. How frequently do we, the 7 scholars or the 3 angry wenches. A number can be very specific and really hone in on, in this case, probably an organization or a person or a group of people. Who knows? It could be the store too, like 3 grumpy blacksmiths, and it's like the place is called 3 Grumpy Blacksmiths, and you bet it's run by 3 of the grumpiest blacksmiths. So, yeah. So I really love the way this is written. It's very practical. It's very practical writing, which I think is really important for GMs as you go into building. There's nothing I hate more than a bunch of flowery language that I can't get past to get to the point. And the point here is to name stuff and to be able to do it very easily, quickly, and efficiently, and to come out with something particularly unique that makes your city even richer for your players. So let's go ahead. I'm going to scroll down and take a look here. So recommended tables, an inn. So we're going to create an inn for our town, everybody. Now I'm going to need your input. I am going to roll, and then we'll decide maybe do we like it. Last week somebody made an even better suggestion, like a synonym for a word that I thought was just like way better. Of course, I mean maltsters, not brewers. Come on. That's so great. So I'm going to be looking to you because this is our town. So this says, inn names have perhaps the most flexibility when selecting tables, but the most consistently useful results, however, are to try one of the following. And then it provides a list, actually, a bulleted list of like table A plus table B plus table C, or table A and table D, to get a better idea. So I'm going to roll. Interesting. So one of the suggestions is a descriptive creature, or descriptive people, or objects. So let's just, you know what? Nothing like going in order. We're going to go with table A and table B. That would be a descriptive creature, and we'll see if we like it. So table A looks to be a D100. So I'm going to come right over here to roll 20, and I'll actually take y'all with me if you want. This is the little roll 20 count. I started to kind of build our town. I'm going to roll a D100. Boop. An 82. 82. A sleeping or sleepy. That's absolutely perfect for an inn. Okay, so it's the sleepy or the sleeping something. And then we had B table, which is going to be our creatures. I'm going to roll another D100. A 40. On the table, 40 is a grig. The sleepy grig or the sleeping grig. Thoughts. I kind of like it. And maybe, like, that's really descriptive. Maybe there's, like, grigs carved into things, or, like, a 100 table. Let's just stop and talk about that. On this document that I have, that I'm spilling beans from, there are currently there are 5 D100 tables. Oh my gosh, the groggy grig? Perfect. Yes, Kai Hawkeye. Beautiful. So I'm going to add a new section here in Roll20 for us, a new folder. This is going to be local stops, because this can include inns or taverns or businesses. I'm going to add a new handout, because this is kind of how I'm tracking things. I love this. The Groggy Grig. Alliteration for the win! Nothing like a little alliteration. And then this would get saved. And then we can add some information. Is it an inn? Is it we didn't say it was a tavern, so maybe it is just a place for sleeping and gathering, not for drinking and consumption. There might be a small restaurant, or it could be an Airbnb, not an Airbnb, a bed and breakfast. Those are the words I'm looking for. That could be kind of cute. I love the idea of a bed and breakfast. Here in town, called the Groggy Grig. They serve the best. It is true. It helps. It does. Like, it's solidified in your mind. Oh, you had to go look up a grig. So that could be, I love that. Like a little bed and breakfast. Easy peasy. We'll just save that. Maybe we learn a little bit more about this bed and breakfast, or maybe we'll come back and add an NPC because we have a person's naming things. So maybe we'll add some of the employees. I'm going to go ahead and drag this under my local shop. Nope, I did not do it correctly. There it goes. There we go. I still didn't do it. I don't think it wants to go, everybody. It doesn't want to drop in my... There it goes. There it goes. Okay, perfect. We don't have any characters at this point, but maybe we will. I actually was thinking that maybe they should have a grig grog, like a morning. We call it like the morning grig grog because it's a bed and breakfast. I love that. Yes, cheers. That's fun. I like that. They serve a particular grog. Maybe the grog is brewed by the local maltsters. There's a little connection there. The more connections you can make, the easier it is usually for your players to find their way through your campaign. So we'll say serves the best morning grog in town. Griggs. With Grig, eggs, and ham. Perfect. That's hilarious. I love that. Maybe we'll even make that like I put quotations and italicized things that might be a talking point. That way, if I get an NPC or they're talking to an NPC who's trying to point them in a direction, somebody has something to say about the business, because you actually learn more about people and businesses and locations by how other people talk about them. Oh my god, I love that so much. And maybe they source. Oops, nope. I'm so sorry. I need to do source their grog from the local maltsters. Guild. There we go. All right, couple little notes, nothing too extreme. Love it. So perfect. What a great name. I'm going to go ahead too, and I say we roll up another location. The other location suggestions were, there was an inn, and I think we need some other shops and shops and other establishments. Let's do two here. Let's do a shop, and then we'll do like another establishment. Maybe we can think up something that's not a tavern, is maybe not quite a place to shop, or is an obscure place that might be specific to this town. So in addition to inns, the names of many other types of shops can be easily generated. So their suggestion here is to roll on any of the following tables. The creature table or people table with an object, and then the creature table with the people table and object. Or roll twice from any one of the following tables so that we can kind of pick and choose. So, oh, I see. Yes. So their suggestions would be something like the abbot and the idol, or the scribe and the scroll. So you get this idea of how that works, seeing a lot of alliteration. If we wanted to roll twice from each of the tables and combine that, it might look a little something like the fiddle and the quill, lute and lyre. So it's a little bit longer of a business name. That is definitely some kind of music shop. Okay, let's do, I love the idea of rolling on the objects table. So let's do that, and we'll see if it comes out maybe being a shop or an establishment. We rolled off the creature table already, so let's roll off table C, people. People and objects are what we're going to start with for this other business. So, rolling up that D100 set. Coming up with another 40. The likelihood of that is very, very low. I'm gonna try to get these rolls higher on the screen for all of you so you can kind of see what I'm all about. There we go. Another 40. Well, it'll be different. So the 40 people table is Hermit. Oh, I love that. Hermit. What a great people. Yes, and it does work great for that, Kai Hawkeye. Those random NPCs that your players just want to talk to everyone or everything. This actually has some option to help name all kinds of things. So I love that. Okay, so Hermit. Hermit is our first word. Let's grab, that was our people. Now let's grab our object off a D100 table. Woo, at least it wasn't a 100. I'm going to push it up so y'all can see it. There you go. So it's a 20. 20. Chalice. Do we call it the Hermit's Chalice? Or do we call it the Hermit and Chalice? Do we even like Chalice? I was thinking a knick-knack top shop too. You know, a hermit has a very particular aesthetic, so to say. A knick-knack shop of mystery. I love that. What if it was called the Hermit's Chalice? And the hermit who runs the shop, yeah, it's like a curio shop. The hermit that runs this curio shop, or maybe once was hermit that runs a curio shop, his most prized possession is a chalice he'll never sell. Yeah, secret and hidden treasures in his junk shop. I love that. So let's get him added to another handout here. This is called the Hermit's Chalice. Is that what I said? That's the word I used. Yeah. The Hermit's Chalice. Now the Hermit's Chalice, we said, is a curio junk shop. Run by an old, I'm gonna put hermit in quotations, because if he's in the city, he's not really a hermit anymore. And my question is he like a fake hippie? Is he like trying to live the hermit lifestyle, but really he just wants to, you know, do his thing and live in the city? Oh, it gives him wisdom for, yeah. Oh, okay, so he's more of a recluse. He's not necessarily a hermit anymore, but he's a little, okay, and Rusty Old Hermit, that's more of a recluse. Love this. And his most prized possession is his enchanted, lucky chalice. And I love this idea that nobody's ever seen it. That he talks about the chalice and the whole shop's named after, but nobody actually knows if he owns it or not. If it's all in his head. That no one has ever seen. He says he keeps it in the back. He says when you drink from it, it grants great business wisdom. Which is the perfect thing for this like old recluse to own for possibly a failing business. That's hysterical. Yes, exactly. It makes a possible mission to steal it, or better yet, is there a group in town that may want that chalice? A business group. Let's look at one of the guilds. That's what they do, is business, right? So actually, this is glorious. This is a great way to put like a hook in there. So let's see. We had the Honorable Society of Leatherworkers, the Solemn Order of Maltsters, and the Steadfast Fellowship of Masons. Now, the Masons, we said, were a little bit secretive. They tend to keep their internal workings very private and away from the general public. They might be a great group of people. We can actually give them a reason to want this chalice. Maybe their businesses are failing. Yeah, he won't sell his magical business challenge that may or may not exist. Yeah, yes. Okay, so I love this. So they keep their secrets close, and little is known about their inner workings. Currently, actually, unknown to most, are quickly losing money. And many of the, let's just say may go out of business. I'll put leader because I don't have a better term right now. The guild leader, and has his eyes on, we didn't name our hermit, but has his eyes on a special chalice. Welcome in. Oops. Let me edit this because I didn't put the actual name of this was, what do we call it? The Hermit's Chalice, right? Did I put that? Oh, this is just an extra note. Where did my notes go? That's very odd. Oh, well. I guess I'll put them back. Okay. I guess I didn't save it. Oops. Save your work, everybody. There we go. Let me scroll back down. Their leader is seeking an answer, and he has his eyes set on a special chalice in the local, has on a special chalice owned by a local hermit. That way, then they don't know who the hermit is, but they can go seek out the business. Oh, I love that. That maybe it was, it's long lost. It's always belonged to the guild, but they've lost it. Yeah, I love that. Their lore says that, oh, it's kind of like, okay, I love this. The Masons believe the chalice is made of stone, therefore belonging to them. Perfect. I'm saving that before I lose my work, because I lost everything on Old Hermit. I'll retype it later. Perfect. So we've got a few shops. We've got at least two shops, both of which have a little bit of a connection to another one of the guilds that we have already created, which I think is a nice little round circle for creating your campaign. Now, we have one more thing we need to add. The question is, do we want to add another shop? I think maybe we should. Maybe another, we'll call it, I like the establishment. Another establishment. This time, let's do a creature and 2 objects. And see what we come out with. So the creature table, again, we roll. The creature table says, drum roll please, 8. Man, I'm getting really low numbers for 8. Bugbear, pretty standard. Great. So bugbear, what? We're going to do 2 objects. Let's do 2 objects. Object number 1. Oops. 31. Object number 2. Okay, so 31. Feather. That works. Bugbear. Yep, bugbear feather. And 55 is, let's scroll up a little bit. Key. So key, feather key. So bugbear, feather, key. Those are our 3 words to make our next establishment. Which is, like it could be like the key to the bugbear's feather. Or, the key of the feathery bugbear. Or bugbears, feather, and keys. What you think, chat? I'm gonna get us set up to write this down and not lose it this time. Sounds like a front for the local thieves guild. You know, it's interesting. We did not lay out a thieves guild. Ooh, I like that. Key is the owner. It's the name of the person. Keys, bugbear, feathers. Yeah. I love that. Okay, let me do another handout. That's cool. Love that idea. Love the idea that maybe it is a front. Yes, clean rooms, feather beds, and every room locks. And no bugbears. It's a bugbear-free zone. So maybe it is. I love this. It's another inn and tavern. Yeah. So you know we have an inn. Yeah, but it's still clean. Yeah, we have an inn. So, and I like this idea that the name has actually lent itself to an NPC. So keys, bugbear, feathers. So keys, bugbear, feathers. So the first thing we have to do is definitely say Key is the owner. We don't know a whole lot about Key, but it's his shop. And I like the idea that maybe this is sells actual rare. Maybe Key's competitor is the old hermit. Because if he's selling rare items and the hermit is claiming to sell rare items at a lower price, this could be a little bit of a competition. You know what I mean? You could call it the dancing bugbear, but the sign is an image of a bugbear holding a key and feather. Or it's a heraldic symbol. I love that. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Who says that we can't just add more words? Can't we just add more words? Right? This is a descriptor. You know what? What this really needs is a descriptor. Oh, yeah, the key shop is organized and higher class than the hermits. Love this. Okay, I'm going to quick roll a descriptor to go with this because I'm like you said dancing bear, and it feels like bugbear. It needs a descriptor. So I'm going to quick roll a descriptor option just for funsies. We can choose not to use it. Copper. Okay. Copper keys bugbear's feathers, or copper keys, I love copper. Maybe it's copper feathers. Keys bugbear copper feathers. Copper's a really great descriptive word. What if key is a bugbear? Just kidding. Yeah, okay, so I love this idea, regardless of what we end up calling it. I will say, it sells rare and unique items, significantly more organized than the local hermit shop. Who is, I'll say their great competitor. Perfect. Which is their great competitor. So, Key is the owner. They sell rare and unique items, significantly more organized than the local hermit shop, which is their great competitor. I'm going to say Key despises the hermit. I keep calling him the hermit because we didn't name him. Key doesn't get along with the hermit, so he might have, he might be willing to help anyone trying to steal his prized chalice. This chalice has taken on a whole level of its own. Keys, bugbear. Let's do it in bronze feathers. Keys, bugbear, and bronze feathers. Or it could be keys, feathers, and bronze bugbears. No, I like it the other way around. That's good. Yeah, a little bit of alliteration, but not too much. I'm going to save this before I lose it. Great. Oh, I love this. So we've got a lot of tchotchke shops in this town, which is very interesting because we have a lot of craftsman guilds, which I think is a pretty cool connection there. Let me organize because we want to stay organized. Now, the last thing we're going to do is potentially do one more. We had talked about a ship, and I was kind of thinking about that. We don't really have water source here, but I'm wondering if there still isn't some kind of major vehicle. If there's a local quarry nearby, I imagine that the masons have to get all that stone to and fro. And I love this idea that maybe they've created a mechanism to move everything, and they call that mechanism something. It's its own sort of vehicle. Yeah, or a port. Like, we could actually add a water's edge to this if we wanted. Maybe it's a river town if we're talking about there are quarries somewhere, so maybe it's a little bit more inland. Maybe it's like a lake or a large river that runs through the area. But let me move this before I forget. Okay, so we've got at least 3 local shops and 3 local craftsman guilds, each of which we've kind of connected in some way, shape, or form. Our leather workers have gotten kind of the shaft right now, but oh, you know what? We talked about making an organization. Let's do that. Let's make the cleric organization that the leather workers are working with. I think that's a fun little connection. So, this says for groups, organizations, and orders. With even more creativity, the GM can generate interesting names for adventuring bands, knightly orders, mercenary groups, mysterious, and rolling. Okay, so the like simply by rolling on any one or two of the tables and then adding words or phrases like company, knights, order, brotherhood. So we can choose any option we want in terms of our collective naming. And in the end, we're going to add this kind of identifier, this phrase for company, knight, or order, or whatever. So this says the Black Wyvern Company, Brotherhood of the Scarlet Tome, Order of the White Blade. So I imagine White Blade, Black Wyvern Company, Brotherhood of, or Scarlet Tome is what was rolled, and then they added Brotherhood. So it looks like a descriptor, again, might be in order. Descriptors are very helpful for identifying things. So I'm going to add a descriptor to this one. Descriptor says 66. Platinum. Wow. Maybe they're a very wealthy group of people if they're using the term platinum. Love that. And then, I think it's a group of clerics. So I'm debating on a creature, right? It does fit with the main idea, or an object. I'm between a creature and an object. I think I'm going to roll a creature first. 46 for our creature table. Hobgoblin. So platinum and hobgoblins. Now, just because we want to give ourselves the option of getting the right thing, I will do an object as well. 92, finally a little down the line. 92, torch. Hobgoblin, platinum, and torch. Now, I love this idea of a platinum torch. That's very cleric. Like, that is so cleric. So if we got rid of hobgoblins and we just stuck with the platinum torch, we could do, like, the order of the platinum torch. Yes, you took right out of my mouth, Kai. Right out of my mouth. Perfect. Yeah, the order of the platinum torch just screams cleric group. So I'm going to add another handout, and we're going to add, they're going to be considered maybe more of an organization. They're not a guild for clerics. They need to function on their own. It looks like we're all in agreement. The order of the platinum, the order of the yeah, did I get it right? Yeah, the order of the platinum torch. Sorry. Yeah, the order of the platinum torch. I love that. Now, the question is, this is an order of clerics, who, now, if we're going by what we already have, let me say this before I lose it. That's how you lose things. If we go by this, what notes we have about the Honorable Society of Leatherworkers, they only used leather and goods that are they only use blessed leather to make their goods. So the clerics have to be able to bless things. That must be one of the things that they do, or they're focused on blessing items. They work with the local society of leather workers to provide the blessed leather for their goods. Now, the question is, yeah, right. The question is, what does the order get out of this? Is it just a payment thing? Oh my gosh. They have you know what? Let's just put here, the order has a particular distaste for hobgoblins. I think that's the way to go. And then maybe that's a little key for our players if they want to pick into that hook. But the order has a particular distaste for hobgoblins. It's like their favorite thing in the whole world, or most unfavorite thing in the whole world. But what do the clerics get out of working with the guild? Is it just straight money? Is it just a regular exchange? I don't know. What could the leather workers provide the clerics? Maybe they provide them the armor back? They could provide them, yeah, I like, in exchange, the Society of Leather Workers provides armor and goods at no cost. Which means that now, if you are part of this cleric order, you get the benefit of getting free armor from the local leather workers. Oh, blessed padded leather pews for the temple. Blessed, all of our blessed heinies. All right. We've got that one and we've got that one. So this actually shaped up pretty nicely, I have to say. Right now, we've got a lot of different, and just what little bit we've got, and just with the help of this Campaign Builder Cities and Towns, 2 sections, that's it, just 2 sections from the whole book, have led us to building this much of our city already together, right? I'm going to leave them out because they're not really they're their own thing. But you can see we've got 3 local shops, all of which have connecting pieces to the local guilds. And from our guilds, we were able to build an extra order that's also working in town. So you can see there are clerics involved here. There's all these craftsmen. But there seems to also be a little bit of like underhanded trade and kind of fickle business happenings going on between everything in this town. So I'm going to imagine this is a trade town. Between the shops and the craftsman guild, this has got to be some kind of town of trade. Now, next week, we're going to come back and do some more building on what we already have. I don't know what our section will be next week, but I very much look forward to continuing to add to the town as we go through.